All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos from, humid, sticky Huntington this evening. It's been raining on and off. I know because I got caught in it a couple of times today, but it doesn't matter. It is Shabbat. We are here, and the weather can do whatever the weather wants. We just finished this week, the days. We had Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut this week. And Yom HaAtzmaut was a bit subdued in Israel, as you can all imagine. But they still celebrated it. They still celebrated. They refused to hide. They refused to give in. So, all right, let's begin welcoming Shabbat with Kabbalat Shabbat. And we'll have Amy come up. She's going to bench licht this evening. Pages 3 for the reading and then 2 for the bracha.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. So we have to
Push
grasp
forward.
this thing,
Push forward.
push, and then pull. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'havlikner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. Page 9, let's continue with a responsive reading. Top of page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared for nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Let's jump ahead to page 20 and visit the rabbis in Tzfat, the mystics who gave us the Kabbalat Shabbat service on Friday night. And Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabilha. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nekabilha. Shamho b'zacho b'digor echad, Yishmi'anu el ha'miuchad, Adonai echad u'shmaho echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'li tila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nitkabillah, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki makor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabilha, mikdash melech yirmelucha, kumitzi mitoch hafecha, rav lahak shevet B'mechabacha, v'hu yachamol alaychem la, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabilha, hitna'ari ve'afar shumi, lishi b'dei tifarte chami, al yad b'nishai beit halachmi, korva el nafshi ge'ala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabilha, Hitorari, Ki va'orech kumi ori, ori, shir daberi, Kivod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabilha, Lo tevoshi v'lo tikodmi, ma tishtochachi ma tehemi, bach yechesu ani ani, b'ni b'neta ir al tila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavila, l'hayu l'shipsa shohosaich, v'rahachaku kol mevalayich, yasis alayich Elohaich, ki himsos chahatan al kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavila, yamin u'smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taritzi, al yadish ben partzi, b'ni smecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavila, boi b'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'sola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekavila. Let's turn to page 22, the Psalm for Friday. Oh, I'm sorry, the Psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92. And let's read the outdented paragraph together. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with the 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadik katamar yifrach, keres balmanon iskeh shetulim. B'beit Adonai, b'chatzro Eloheinu, Yahrichu, Ojenuhun b'seiva, Deshenim v'ra'ananim, Yiyu lehagi, Ki ashar Adonai, Tsuri velo avlatabo. Page 24 at the top. Let's welcome the angels who come to spend Shabbat with us, greeting them with the traditional greeting of Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have welcome the Shabbat, The Shabbat bride is with us. Page 146, we'll turn our attentions to Arvit, the evening service for Shabbat. Please rise for Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. Let's read together on 147 the paragraphs in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvel of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, but not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Agavim. Top of 148. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amcha habta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otan limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, V'shochmeinu v'kumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Li'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayinu, V'yorech yameinu, V'yorech yameinu, Uvahem negeh yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. V'ahavat techal tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom ha'levavecha. Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, uvlektecha b'derech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha leman tizkru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Eloechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151. Let's continue responsibly. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Before our eyes, there's a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. When will redemption come? Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. Top of 152. Mi chamocha vaylim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nahorati lo, Hosef Ele, Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, Vokeam lifnei Moshe, Zeli anu v'amru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nemar ki fad Adonai Yaakov u'ga'alom yad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Top of 153. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Let's read together in English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'porei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The top of 154, Vishamru, verses from the book of Exodus, and it's not Shabbat if we don't have Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for the Amidah, the central prayer of the evening service. 155, 156, and 157 we'll chant together, and then we'll go silently, and you could finish the prayer in Hebrew, in English, or you could offer up your own meditative prayer during the silent time. But we'll begin together on 155. Adonai sifatai titah, ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai titah, ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, I open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Omel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיים מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גיבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. All right, let's continue together. Page 160, reading that paragraph in the middle together. May these hours of rest and rule open our hearts to joy, truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who struggle find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. May we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. A little bit of Hoda'ah on 163. After about 3 weeks of crushing losses in my personal life, this week I actually had some good news. So I am grateful for that the storm seems to have subsided. Page 163, let's read responsively. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. And we'll close out on 164, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. Praise are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Mishaberach in the middle of page 253. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Mikor habracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Pages 258 to 59, prayers of our community. And back from a whirlwind tour of Manhattan, Mr. President, how about the prayer for our congregation?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, shotecha l'macha v'yirah na'avod. Laurie, the prayer for our country.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit.
Amen.
Amen. Shalom shalom Yerushalayim Yishlayu Avayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim Sur Yisrael V'Golo Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reishit Tzmichat Gulatenu Hagen Aleha B'Yafrach Chastecha Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha L'Rasheha Sareha B'Yoetzeha B'Taknein Be'etzah Tova L'Ilfanecha V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz V'Simchat Olam Yoshveha V'Nomar Amen. David Gleck, how about the prayer in English, please?
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield them beneath the wings of your love. Spread over the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Let us say, Amen.
Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. This week, it's Parshat Emor, and we're starting to wind down the book of Leviticus. And after the last couple of weeks of focusing on holiness, we focus on the Kohanim, on the priests this week, and the rules for their holiness. They're not allowed to touch a corpse, right? And to this day, Kohanim do not go into cemeteries, and if they do, they stay on the paved spots. They don't want to walk over a grave. That idea of tumah and cleanliness goes up. So even though the body is dead and decomposing or decomposed, that uncleanliness still floats up and can affect the Kohen. But for an immediate relative, they can be in contact with the corpse. They're not allowed to shave their heads or their peyot, the curls on the side of their head. They're not to mark or gash their flesh. Right? And that's often looked at as branding and tattooing. But there's a lot of ink spilled over that, but not for tonight. They can't marry a divorced woman or a non-virgin. No physical impediments, right? I could not be a Kohen because I walk with a limp. And but any other kind of physical impediments would move you out of that as well. If they have a skin affliction, or if they themselves become unclean, they can't officiate at the sacrifices, whether it was in the tabernacle or at the temple. They can't eat the offerings that were offered at that point until they go to the mikvah, until they go into the ritual and purification bath. And that's the first chunk that we get. Then we get a statement that all offerings from Israelites and non-Israelites are allowed in the sanctuary. So you didn't have to be a Jew to bring a sacrifice, but the blemished or somewhat contaminated animals were not allowed either for Israelites or non-Israelites. Now we get the Moedei Adonai. We get a restatement about the festivals of God. It begins with Shabbat, because Shabbat, of course, is the most important holiday on the calendar. It is the one that happens most often. In Judaism, the more you do something, the more important it is. So Yom Kippur is important, Rosh Hashanah is important, but Shabbat trumps them because Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur come once a year, where Shabbat comes every week. And the idea is rest, complete rest. We move to Pesach, the eve of the 14th day of the first month. 7 days, with the first and the last being sacred. Shavuot, 7 weeks after Pesach, we count the Omer leading up there, and that is focusing on the grain offering. And we get a reminder not to reap the whole field, right? So when we go out to harvest, we can't take everything. We have to leave some behind on purpose. So it means you're not going to make as much money, but you're going to feed people, and you're not going to embarrass them or make them ashamed because they have to go and glean. They have to go and pick up what you've left behind. Then the first of Tishrei, that's the first of the 7th month, we get what is called Zichron Teruah. That is what Rosh Hashanah is known as in the Torah. It doesn't go by the name Rosh Hashanah in the Torah or the Tanakh at all. It is the day of remembering the blast. And the point of that day is to hear the shofar. And again, we don't do work. The 10th day of that month is known as Yom HaKippurim, and it's the day of self-denial and fasting. And then right after that, the 15th of the month, we have Sukkot. It's a 7-day festival. We build the sukkah, we shape the lulav and the etrog. And the 1st and the 8th, even though the 8th day is not associated with Sukkot, it's a holiday on its own, it is still, those days are holy. And then we wind up with a commandment to have oil for the lamps. Don't profane God's name. If you do, the punishment is death. Don't murder. The punishment is death. If you physically harm someone, the same punishment is meted out on you. It's the famous ayin tachat ayin, an eye for an eye. And so the rabbis have a lot to say about that because they feel that it was never literal. It was monetary. And they drew up a list of requirements and fulfillments for which the person who was wronged gets paid. So even in Torah times, we needed lawyers. We needed lawyers because there's damage, there's embarrassment, there's healing, there's loss of work, and all of that winds up being monetary compensation. If you kill an animal, if you kill someone else's animal, you make retribution. And the idea, the Torah ends with the same standard of justice is for the Israelite and the non-Israelite. So the Israelites don't get preferential treatment when it comes to these mitzvot, and neither do the non-Israelites. Everybody is held to the same standard, which was revolutionary back then. And if we were able to do that today, the world would be such a better place. There were 63 mitzvot this week, 24 ta'aseh, 24 Jews, 39 don'ts. And we are up, as we near the end of the third book, to 325 total mitzvot. Yeah, it's getting there. I'm getting there. All right, there are tons of Jewish books out there right now. If you go to the library, if you go to the bookstores, well, no, because if you go to Books A Million, you're not going to find many Jewish texts. You have to go to a bigger city, a bigger place. But there are a lot of Jewish books being published right now. And a lot of them are what you would expect. How to observe Shabbat, how to observe the holidays, how to do all these wonderful things. There's books on politics, the politics in America, Jews and the Democratic Party, Jews and the Republican Party, Jews with no party, and political books about politics in Israel, often written by people who don't know what they're talking about, but that's okay. We have historical books, and we have books just on Israel. And then, of course, there's all the fiction that keeps coming out. A number of examples are The Amen Effect by Rabbi Sharon Brous, and she uses her book to talk about how to mend broken hearts and the world. Colleague of mine, Judaism is About Love, Rabbi Shai Held. He wrote a very thick book trying to combat the idea that Judaism is a religion of harsh justice and not love. Often what the Christians say, Judaism is about law and Christianity is about love. Rabbi Held says, no, Judaism is all about love as well. And then there are books with the titles, People Love Dead Jews, by Dana Horn. This was absolutely a brilliant book. She got upset because as a journalist, she kept being asked to write articles about dead Jews. It seems the world only likes us when we are victims. Oh, Yom HaShoah, yes, the victims. They don't like us when we're celebrating. They get angry when we celebrate. So she wrote this book kind of sticking it to the people who are only interested in dead Jews, because there are a lot of live Jews who are very happy and celebrate the fact that they are Jews, right? That she said she was always forced to write about Jewish deaths and had little, people had little respect for Jewish lives unfolding, which that's true. So it's a great book. People Love Dead Jews, title notwithstanding. But the book that has really caught my attention, and I cannot recommend it enough, is Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew, written by Emmanuel Akko and Noah Tishby. Noah Tishby is a Jewish actress, activist, and Emmanuel Akko was a former linebacker in the NFL. He's a sports commentator, and he wrote a couple of other books, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Boy, and now they can add Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew. And it is exactly what it promises. It is an uncomfortable book because the Akko and Tishby Noah Tishby, in addition to being an actress and an activist, she was, I think, the minister that did work with anti-Semitism in Israel until she got fired for doing her job too good. She wrote a book called Israel, a simple guide to the most misunderstood country on earth. And that's a brilliant little book too. But the whole book is set up as a conversation back and forth between the two of them. And it's a post-October 7th idea. This wasn't something that they had been working on before. It's post-October 7th. It is candid, it is blunt, and it is uncensored. And it takes a lot to make me agitated when I'm reading a book, and I got agitated. And it's not because the questions were inappropriate. It's because the questions have to be asked because nobody wants to ask them. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to sing Kumbaya and say, oh yes, we all get along fabulously, until we don't. Until one group decides it's going to celebrate, or another group decides that it's going to resurrect some old harsh feelings against the other group, and then we're left at a stalemate. So they are quite candid, and they pull no punches. They talk about things like the Jewish race. Because even in 2024, there are people who still think that we are a race. We are not a race. We are a culture. We are a religion, but we are not a race. That comes to us thanks to the Nazis and their propaganda, and some people just can't let it go. It's a way of pushing us out. So they focus on that. They not focus, but talk about it. Jews, money, and power. Talk about wanting to feel uncomfortable. Oh, the Jews control the media. Oh, no, we don't. Actually, we do. There are more Jews in the media than any other group. Now, that's not because of any nefarious plot, but when Hollywood was getting started in the early 20th century, the Jews were the only ones who risked the money on the technology. They were the only ones who went out and bought the land and developed studios. So it's not nefarious, it's just, okay, well, how come all the WASPs control, right, the WASPs, see, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants control all the legal firms on the East Coast? Well, because they were the first ones there. But the point is that that's an uncomfortable question. Then they talked about October 8th, right? October 7th. But what about October 8th? Why that? And the Z word, Zionism, which is now being used as an anti-Semitic slur, right? And the questions are hard to hear, and the answers are sometimes hard to hear or to read, but this book was worth every moment that I spent with it. And I spent a long time with it because I went back and read and reread things. I don't agree with it all. In fact, I disagree with a couple of significant points, but that's okay because it's uncomfortable conversations with a Jew. And so we should be able to have these kinds of conversations, not just with Emmanuel Akko and Noah Tishby, but with each other and our neighbors, our community members. We should invite the questions, and then we should feel comfortable to ask them questions about their cultures and religions. This, I'm sorry that it had to come out after October 7th, but this is an amazing book, right? They ask questions that you've thought about, but may have been too nervous to ask. Chapters on anti-Semitism are particularly strong because Noah Tishby does not accept any kind of anti-Semitism, and she will call it out whether you're the President of the United States, whether you're the Prime Minister of Israel, which got her into trouble, whether you're just some guy walking down the street. And they talk a lot about, and this is very important, the Black-Jewish relationship and how it has deteriorated since the days of Martin Luther King and Abraham Joshua Heschel and the first real civil rights movement. And it has, but nobody wants to talk about it. They do. Akko and Tishby. And the book's not only for non-Jews. I mean, it's for Jews or anybody who's interested in Judaism. And it's not one denominational point of view. Noah Tishby has Orthodox, conservative, Reform, Reconstructionist, New Age leanings in her practice. So if you're going to look and see her say, well, this movement is right and that movement is wrong, you're going to be disappointed. I was elated because that's what we need. Denominationalism is dead. If you look at the synagogues that are thriving, even in small communities, they're not Reform, they're not conservative, they're not Reconstructionist. They are synagogues that adapt a minhag, a way of doing Judaism that is uniquely theirs. And if you've ever gone to one of those kinds of synagogues, and I've gone to several, it is a tremendous feeling of Yiddishkeit, right? And most of them say we keep kosher, even though some don't, and we try to observe Shabbat as best we can, even though some don't. But we're trying to make this a place that is open and welcoming to everybody. And so if we keep Shabbos a little bit more than some people do, or if we keep kosher a little bit more, well, the people who think that that's ridiculous, well, don't know what to tell them. The point of the book is to educate. It's not to say Jews are better or this one is better. It's to educate and a lot of basic information on how to refute anti-Semitism, anti-Judaism, and to educate others whom we will meet in our daily lives. So get it in Kindle, on ebooks. I'm sure you can find it at Books A Million because it's on the New York Times bestseller. And they're in the back. The guy with the beard, that's Emmanuel Akko, and that's Noah Tishby. And you won't be disappointed. You won't. I promise you that. All right. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. Any questions on any of those books? I mean, I have all the ones that I mentioned. I have, and with the exception of Judaism is about love, I haven't made it through. That's like 500 pages.
What was the one, Rabbi, about Israel, the third one?
A Simple Guide
Yeah.
to the Most Misunderstood Country on Earth.
Yeah,
That's Noah Tishby's
okay. Thank
first
you.
book.
I'm writing this down. I know, I actually
And a
watched,
spoiler alert with Noah Tishby's book on Israel,
yeah.
she supports Israel wholeheartedly.
Well, I'm actually familiar with Emmanuel Akko because his original work, A Couple Conversations with a Black Man, I watched him talk with Matthew McConaughey about that. You may remember that.
That's a powerful book too.
He's really, he's exceptional. He's, you can see why he's not in the NFL anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was all right when he was in the NFL, but I think he's found his calling. I think as a social commentator and author, I think he's found his calling.
He should be the one speaking at commencements.
Yeah. Or Noah Tishby. Right. There are a lot of people. Okay. Maury.
Kadoosh.
Kiddush, yes. When Maury's not here, I panic. So Kiddush. Everybody please rise. Please rise. That's right where I left it. Oh, that's cottage. Is problem with old books is pages move around. Vayera vayivoker yom hashishi vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam vayachal Elohim vayom hashvihi melachto asher asa vayishvot vayom hashvihi mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvihi vayikadesh Vayikadesh Shemo v'chol. Sorry. Vayavarech Elohim et Yom Hashivi Vayikadesh Oto Pivo Shabbat Mikol Melachto Asher Bara Elohim La'asot Savri
Right.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Peri Hagafen Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Kiddeshanu Mitzvotav Beratzavanu, V'Shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'ratzon inchilanu zikaron lemaseh bereshit Nihu yom techila lamikrai kodesh zecher v'tziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. All right. Things keep falling out of me like a door. Page 282, please remain standing as we begin concluding our service with Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei kedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam elkeinu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Shehu notei shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'Moshe b'kavro b'shamayim imal u'shchinatu zo V'govei meromi Hu Eloheinu Eino Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato Takatu V'Torato V'yadata Hayom V'hashevota Elevavecha Yi Adonai Hu Elohim Mashamayim bimal Yal haaretz Mitachas Eidot. Karatu b'toratecha Adonai imloch li'olam va'ed v'me'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad Ushemo Echad. You may be seated. This week we observed the following yahrzeits: Thelma Cohen, Bernie's wife; Mickey Goldenberg's sister-in-law; Edward Israel Island, Evelyn's husband, Peter's father; Muriel Chase, Max Netchin's sister, Isidore and Julia's father; Neil Reuben Monroe, Miranda's father; Daisy Macintyre Gross, Israel's wife; Roger, Stephen, and Marvin's mother; Norma Levine, Mo's wife, Regina's mother; Ralph Leon Macintyre, Gazella's husband, Saul and Jenny's son; Lois Jean, and Edgar's father; Morton S. Cohn, Ed Island's brother-in-law; Samuel Footlick, Betty Colker's maternal grandfather; Nikki Annette Goldstein Katz, Bernice Stern's sister; Jack Pressman, Tom's father; Edith Fallon, Harry's wife; Eileen, Ron, and Denise's mother; Bessie Schlossberg, Albert's wife; Gazella and Sonny's mother; Nancy Snyder, Stephen's mother. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all. May they all rest in peace. Mourner's Cottage is on page 294. B'yit Gadol, B'yit Kadash, Shmei Rabbah, Ba'alma Divrach, Birutei, B'yamlik Malchutei. V'chayechon, V'yomechon, U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'zman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam Olamei Maya. V'yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Shmei Kudashah, Richu. Le'elam minkol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'amiram ba'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom yimromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. You may be seated. Mr. President, fresh back from Manhattan. You had it? Come on up and let some talk. Mountain Dew, I love it.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
All right. I was on the airplane today, and so I saw the shirt. He turned to his wife, and he was masked, but I could tell he was smiling under his mask. And he turned to his wife, and they were both laughing. It was nice to be able to wear this out in public and
There you
be
go.
proud. Be proud to be Jewish,
That's
right?
it. 100%.
Celebrate who we are, because we are not victims. So tomorrow we have got service at 10 a.m. usual time. And then Sunday, we will have service at 9 a.m. And also, we have a special event in downtown Heritage Station, Kless Virginia Festival. The acts are arriving as I speak, and there will be music. There will be a couple bands, maybe another singer, or surprise guest. There will also be Jewish dancing. There will be magic, courtesy of someone special, right?
David Copperfield?
David Copperfield?
Nah,
Well, he has too much hair.
he does.
But, it's
Bad
all
hair.
right.
It's fake
It's all
hair.
right.
Fake hair.
It's okay. And we will also, there will be food and drink around the premises because it's a POTA area. So if people want to drink, they can drink. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It is going to be a day of Jewish joy and celebration. And I am psyched about it. This has been a long time coming. And I'm very proud to all those who have donated their time. Shane is here tonight. Thank you so much for your tireless efforts. Big part of this. But it's going to be wonderful. The day is going to be beautiful. God will bless us with a wonderful day. Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, no classes on Sunday because I will be otherwise occupied. But if you want to come, I can do magic in Hebrew. So show up and we'll do a little magic in Hebrew.
I have an announcement.
Go ahead.
Sisterhood's final meeting this year is on Sunday at 11 o'clock at the Grill on 3rd. You need to make a reservation. I can take them tonight. We will be going from the meeting to Heritage Station
All right.
to visit that.
You heard it from Judy. Must be true. So good. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you there. I'm trying to think. Lydia's back from school. She completed her first year of college. And did she knock it out of the park? Of course she did.
I think so. I don't know all her.
Well,
friends.
you're
She
all Lydia all the time. It's okay. It's okay. But Lydia's back. Shana and Ronnie, not only Shana, but Ronnie also helped make the Seder amazing. And they went from the Seder to making Kless Virginia on its way to being a great success. So Shana is tireless, indefatigable. There we go. Means you can't get tired. All right. Page 321, we will close out this humid and damp Friday night, but it's a beautiful Shabbat nonetheless. 321, Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, Leit nasa b'chefsa kol, Azai mehelek shemo nikra, V'yacharei Tiklot hakol, Levado imlot nohora, Vehu haya, vehu hoveh, Vehu yeh b'tiftara, Vehu echad, v'ein sheni. Lahamshil lo lahachvira, v'li reshit v'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'hu eli v'chai go'ali, v'tzur chevli v'yetzara, v'hu nisi umanos li, v'nat kosi b'yom ekra, v'yahanu akid ruchi, v'yetishan v'yahira, v'imruchi v'yati, Adonai li v'lo yira. Oh, it looks like we've got people on the intertubes tonight. Let's see who they are. Grant David T, GDT. Good Shabbos, all love and shalom from Florida. Right back at you, GDT. I'll look forward to chatting with you this coming week. Heather Watts, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Heather. There's Mom. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's mom, Cliff. Nathaniel, the prince, my nephew, who just completed his freshman year of high school. And Jonah. Jay, what name? No? Clayton. Senior year in college, you're finishing, high school, you're finishing it up. All right, we've got lots of graduates. I just can't keep them all straight. Terry and Phil from Chile, PA. Well, thanks, Mom. Cliff, Nathaniel, Terry, and Phil. Donna Wilson, Shabbat Shalom. Sounds like a good book to get from iBooks. It most certainly is. All of them that I recommended are good ones to read during the summer. All right, friends, you know there's a lot happening. Services tomorrow and Sunday. Sunday is Quest, Virginia. No meetings next week, I don't think. So, yeah, it's a busy weekend. So you're going to need the rest of the week to recover. So come out and be part of it, and hope to see you there. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and please be careful out there.